Again, I don't want to play with it too much because as soon as I lift it up, it's all gonna go to hell. Trust me. Welcome to another episode of The Silly Kitchen. Today we are going to make a pain in the ass recipe. Well, it's not really that much of a pain because I'm hoping that some of the tips and tricks that I will give you today will make it a little more fun in the kitchen for you. But we're going to go ahead and make fresh rolls today using rice paper. Now, I know a lot of people don't like messing around with rice paper because it is a little finicky. I have a couple of tips that I think will help you make it less finicky and still enjoy some beautiful fresh rolls. I love my veggies. You can see all the different prep I've done for today for these fresh rolls. So let's go through a little bit of the ingredient list. You can see I have some sprouts here. I'm using pea shoots, but if you have broccoli sprouts or alfalfa sprouts, you can use those too. I've got leaves of Boston lettuce. I like Boston lettuce for these because it's a little bit softer. If you try using like romaine lettuce or some of the other lettuces, they might rip the actual wrap because they're so dense and kind of a little bit harder. So Boston lettuce is my choice. I have red cabbage, I have cucumber, red pepper, some carrots, celery. I have tofu that I have chopped up and seasoned beautifully. I like a smoked tofu. And then I've just added a Cajun salt seasoning to the tofu to give it a little bit of flavor, just let it sit. And I also have a little bit of mango. Now the one thing you might notice is the way that I've cut my vegetables. So I've tried to keep them nice and long so that they fit into the roll. And with the carrots, I've also done like the spiral, the veggie spiralizer type thing. You can use just a regular peel. I've also done an episode previously with these peelers that I have, so you could check that out. But all of the vegetables are gonna be nice and long. So you wanna keep that in mind. So when you're making fresh rolls, there is a little bit of prep work to do. I figure you guys know how to cut vegetables, so I'll just show you how I did it here, and then we'll go ahead and make the rice paper rolls. Rice paper. It is finicky, it is dry. If I try to kind of bend it and break it right now, it won't. So you need to hydrate this into water. Here's what I'd like you to do if you're gonna attempt these at home, which I do hope you do. Get yourself a kind of dish that is big enough to fit the entire roll, paper, whatever you wanna call it, and fill it with lukewarm water. Not too deep and not too much water. You can always add water later on if you want to. I've also taken a dishcloth, a fresh dishcloth, and soaked it in water and rinsed it out so that when I put my rice paper roll here, it's not gonna stick to anything. It's not gonna get all finicky. If it's a little bit wet, it'll be easier to work with. So here we go. We're gonna put the rice paper into the water and just immerse it in, make sure it's all covered, and just like wait a couple seconds. Now, this does not take very long. I don't want it to sit there too long because if you do and you pull it out, it's just gonna go, trust me, I've done that before. So don't let it sit too long. Once you kind of feel that it's soaking in some of that moisture, you can flip it just to kind of feel. And that's been like, what, 12 seconds, maybe a little bit longer. And this is where I now pull this out because it's still dense. This isn't all, the water hasn't all soaked into this. I don't want it to get too soft. But I'm just gonna go like that and leave it for another minute here because you can see there's still water that hasn't soaked in. You can even add a little dribble if you want and make sure that the edges still have water soaking in. And that's why this piece of cloth or whatever you end up using, dishcloth, is really important because it's already wet, so it's not going to take away any of the water here. And I'm just making sure that it's soaking in a little bit of that extra water. In this way, you're not pulling it out of the water, it's not all finicky, and it's a little bit easier to work with. Not a pain at all yet, right? So now I can feel that the water has definitely soaked in. Again, I don't want to play with it too much because as soon as I lift it up, it's all gonna go to hell. Trust me, I've done this enough times that I've figured it out. Now, this is where you get to build what you want to put in your fresh roll. There's a lot of variations. I'm using tofu today because I actually like the texture of it. I've used shrimp. I've used even really thinly sliced cooked beef. So there's a lot of options. You can go vegetarian, you can add meat if you want, totally up to you. Now, if you want it to look pretty, what you do is you start with a couple of the pretty ingredients, the colorful pretty. All food is pretty, no? I don't know. Because this is where you're gonna do the rolling, and then you'll be able to see some of these beautiful colors. So, see how I cut the vegetables nice and long? That way they're gonna fit nicely into our beautiful wrap here. Wrap, roll, whatever. And you can put as much or as little as you want, but I'm using specifically these types of vegetables because they're softer. I didn't cut the carrots into the same type of slices because I don't want the carrots, again, to rip the rice paper roll. So I want to use stuff that isn't gonna be too hard on the rice paper. Not all of them are gonna fit all the way across here, so double up, add what you want, what you don't want, it's all good. Now, a lot of people do rice paper rolls where they fold them up like a burrito and it's all closed up. I actually really like them open. So I'm gonna use my Boston lettuce and kind of put it almost to the very, very edge here. And I'm gonna add a couple more of everything because the bottom was just to look pretty. And I love mango. I just think it's such a nice addition to fresh rolls. It gives it a little bit of sweetness and a little bit of extra flavor. And that's it, away we go. I don't know, should I put anything else in here? Maybe another cucumber because I really like cucumbers. Now again, I told you they're gonna be a little bit finicky. So the way that I do it, and I like it open, so if you wanna fold it all the way in, just make sure that your ingredients is all there. I'm going to fold it over once and then roll it kind of like an open-faced burrito. Open-ended burrito. I don't know why I said open face. And that's it. I'm gonna cut it in half. And I'll even show you how to store them. So I'm gonna make a couple right now and then I will show you how I like to store them. So now that I've made a few of these, I wanted to show you what I do for storage. So a little bit of a cut right in the center of each of these. Try to make them even, you know, we built them that way. And I take a Tupperware container that's tall enough to handle them. Actually, I've even used ones that aren't as tall. And I stick them in here. Because if I'm making these ahead of time as an appetizer for a party or a snack before dinner, I still want to put them in the fridge. So this is the way that I do it. And then I have this beautiful little, it almost looks like a little earthy growing garden. And I wouldn't put an actual lid on it. I would just put a little bit of saran wrap and stick it in the fridge to keep your vegetables nice and cold. And then you could just put them out or put them in a nice beautiful bowl with a little dipping sauce. I love teriyaki sauces. Actually, I'm gonna make a separate video for a really awesome peanut sauce that goes so well with these, so look for that. I love peanut sauce with these, I don't know what it is. But there you go, that's it. I thought these were gonna be a big pain. They were when I first started. I gotta tell you, I didn't have the whole water ratio towel thing going on. But once you have that, and once you do all your prep work before you even start with these guys, it's boom, 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 and then you have lots of snacks. They are called fresh rolls for a reason, because you should eat them fresh. They're okay, they'll be okay tomorrow. If you're making them with shrimp or meat, maybe not. But with the ones that I use with tofu, definitely they're good for tonight, tomorrow. But after that, probably not a good idea. So if you make them, make enough for you to eat within the 24-hour period, or great, like I said, for a party, great vegetarian option. I'm gonna go make more because I cut up way too many vegetables and fillings, and I can actually eat a lot of these as a dinner. Just sit and dip and eat, and it's a beautiful way to get such a colorful of, such a rainbow of kind of deliciousness. I'm losing my words now because I'm getting hungry. I'm just gonna eat this, cucumber. Thank you so much for watching The Silly Kitchen. I hope that you try these at home. Honestly, they're not as bad as they seem in terms of effort, and I think they're worth it because now I have snacks for today and tomorrow, and they're healthy, they're fresh, and delicious. Oh, and if you like the show, if you're enjoying watching and you're a foodie and you want to try these recipes, please hit that subscribe button. Come make a comment. Let me know what else you want to see on the show. Thank you.